Hey guys, right here again. How you doing? If you'd like to subscribe, it's Nitro Kyosho. What I'd like to talk to you guys about today is basically spare parts for anybody who's getting into the 450, 400, and if you're probably beyond that, this video might not be for you. But this is basically going to be just talking about spare parts for guys that are starting to fly at this level, what to have on hand. Basically, when one of these things comes winging out of the sky at you, okay, you don't know what's, you cross your fingers and hope for the best. Depending if you're flying on, I predominantly stay in fields, grassy fields, softer landings if there's a mechanical failure or a type of crash. If you're flying over concrete or asphalt, good luck to you. I recommend staying obviously in a grassy field. It's more cushiony when these things come plummeting out of the sky on you. Anyways, let's just discuss a little bit, and we'll start with this one here. Okay, this is basically, like I said, a video for newbies into this hobby. What I've seen in my time flying these helicopters, most of the things that you would like to have on hand is spare main blades. Okay, now if you're a newbie flying these type of helicopters, I would recommend staying with wood. Okay, there's no need for carbon fiber yet, because you're not going to be utilizing it in the fashion that it is meant for 3D acrobatics, where you need a good stiff movement on the head of this thing when it's twisting and turning and flipping and flopping in every which way. Okay, so stay with your wood blades. They're cheaper to replace, okay, and save some money. Now, what I found with the Blade 400, and most of the crashes that I've had this summer were mechanical failures, but I'm not tooting my own horn saying I've never had a crash, because that would be ridiculous. Everybody crashes these things. But on this helicopter, most of the time in a crash, the blades, main blades, have on hand. I bent fly bars. Those are cheap. They come in a pack of 2. Have those on hand. Definitely the main shafts. Okay, those come in a pack of 2. And definitely your feathering shaft. Most of the time in a crash, you're almost guaranteed that you're going to have to replace your main blades, your feathering shaft, and your main shaft. Okay, usually, depending, a newbie is usually just banging around and hitting things and not doing too much damage. A lot of times it's a good idea, if you know you're going to come down, try to kill your power, and that'll alleviate some of the damage that you will cause. I've busted canopies. I've never stripped the gears on the Blade 400. Okay. I've never bent or damaged the skids. Most of the things that I've replaced, I've had some tail boom crashes. The tail booms on these bend very easily. Those come in a package of 2. Most of the plastics are pretty tough on this thing. I've never broke a head block housing or swash plate or damaged any of the linkages. I broke the flybar seesaw, which is very cheap. That goes in through the head block housing. A telltale way you can see if that has been damaged, because it's kind of hard to see in there. Mine was cracked right in the center. And what that will do if that is cracked is when the helicopter comes up like this and you've got it in a hover, sometimes it'll jump up like that all by itself without any throttle input. It usually happens during takeoff. So if you notice that, that's usually a cracked the flybar seesaw. Okay, if you're using the stock servos, the junk stock servos that came with these, the plastic ones, which I'm not anymore, I'm using metal gear. Those strip very easily. If you don't want to upgrade to metal geared servos, you can buy little packages of plastic gears from E-Flight that are only a couple of dollars, and you can rebuild those servos within about 2 minutes flat. You take the 4 screws out of the back and you can replace the gears in there. So if you're using stock servos, those strip very easily and they get to be a real pain in the butt, so you might want to think about getting some high-tech Metal Gear 65. They're about $33 a piece for the Cyclics. So just to recap, have some spare canopies. Now the canopy, you want it to be in good shape when you're flying, guys, because you've got $70 batteries in there, okay, and you want to protect that battery. So you don't want to be flying these things with broken canopies. The canopy is very important, okay, not for looks, okay, everybody goes for looks, but it's there to protect that $70 battery, okay. So with the Blade 400, have yourself some main blades. I would have a fly bar on hand, maybe a fly bar seesaw. I would have some main shafts, some feathering shafts, and a couple of tail booms. You might want to have a couple of tail rotor shafts too, just in case. Usually those don't get damaged, but you can have a couple. The parts for this thing is very cheap, which is nice. But that's from my experience, okay, of flying this thing, what I would like to have in a toolbox and have on hand. Now, you know, nobody knows how these things are going to come flying out of the sky, so, you know, safe flying to you, and hopefully you don't have any serious crashes where you really have to get into fixing some major stuff on this. It's pretty easy to work on, though. Okay, as far as the T-Rex Pro 450 by Align, this helicopter is pretty durable. It's got an all aluminum head set up here and tail. The only things I've damaged on this helicopter, I've broken the skid, and I've what else did I do on this? I broke the main blades. Never did anything to the tail boom on this, the fin sets, the tail, mainly the feathering shaft, main shaft, and main blades, and skid set for this helicopter. Basically, it's pretty durable. Also the gear, okay, the gear is stripped out, the gear that's running on the motor, and not the one that's running your torque tube. The upper gear strips very easily. So have some of these, the upper gear, okay, the main drive gear. Have yourself some main blades, and some skid set here. And in my opinion, and you know, your main shaft and your feathering shaft, that's all I've ever damaged on this. Carbon fiber frame, very tough metal head, you know, tail's all metal. So quick recap, skid set, feathering shaft, main shaft, okay, and your main blades. Other than that, this has metal geared servos and it's built pretty well. So that's about all I have to say. That's in my experience what I've had to change in these helicopters, and the things that you might want to have on hand in your toolbox, so you can get it fixed and back up in the air and flying. So hope this helps you out, gives you a little bit of knowledge on these helicopters, and it's not a bad idea to have any kind of spare parts. I mean, if you can afford to buy them and throw them in your toolbox. But the ones I gave you are the main ones that you're going to definitely need. If you want to subscribe, it's Nitro Kyo Show. I'm Raymond. Thanks for watching.